Evidence. Tonight, see what truly exists inside the world of the paranormal. Inside. Join the discussion and review some of the best paranormal evidence captures from a wide variety of experienced and up-and-coming investigators. See and hear what they capture, where they captured it, and how they captured it. Right now on Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence. I am Chris.
I am Audra.
I am Tony.
I am Cherie.
And I am by myself. I'm Ron Iacovetti. Fortunately, Lourdes couldn't be here tonight. She got into a speed reading accident. She hit a bookmark.
Wow, we're hoping she feels better.
Yeah.
Sure are.
We are.
Miss her when she's not on.
She will do okay. Yes, same here.
And before we get started, hello, Facebook user. That is Kathy Casanova.
Ah.
For some reason, they show up on Facebook, but they don't show up when we show up in the StreamYard feed for some reason.
Yeah.
Coming in
And hot is Jennifer Bell.
Facebook user.
Let's start the broadcast by saying to all the mothers out there that are watching, happy belated Mother's Day.
Yes.
I hope you all got spoiled rotten, and if you didn't, I have a phone number you can call to take care of that.
And after you make the call, it'll be all good.
That's right.
Yes, well said.
Make sure it's not on a recorded line. No, I'm just kidding. Well, tonight we've got a special guest. We have got Carrie Hopper, and Carrie is with History of a Haunting podcast. If none of you have seen it, you need to check it out. And if you haven't seen it, you're pretty lame. You should be checking it out. But she is also a member of Southern Entities Paranormal here in North Carolina.
Woohoo!
So let's bring Carrie in. Everybody say hello.
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 There she is.
Welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me back. I'm super excited.
Yep.
Awesome.
Back.
First time on UNX with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, I am. I love the new intro. I was watching it when you guys were playing it, and I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. I want to be. Oh my God.
They did a good job on that. In fact, I believe it was Christina Gomez that put that intro together. She did a good job.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
for
she
everybody
did
paying
great.
attention, that was Race Hobbs narrating, of course.
Yeah.
Race Hobbs.
Race Hobbs.
Cannot
He's got such a great
come
voice.
close
No.
to
So
mimicking that voice. I
baritone.
know.
I would be announcing things everywhere I went if I had that voice. I'd be in this bookmark going, look like pears. Those are pears.
I am walking
Guy.
down aisle 24.
Even just asking
5:45.
even just asking Bird, what's for dinner? I mean, it's just,
I know,
it's just that.
Yeah.
Can you tell me?
Exactly, yes.
Tell me.
Right?
Funny.
I love it.
Okay, Carrie, so tell our audience on the Unexplained Network and on YouTube and Facebook Live, thanks everybody for joining in. Hello. What got you started in the paranormal? Hey, Scott.
Scott.
Well, I kind of grew up with a story that my grandmother had always told me about after her husband died when my mom was just 15 years old. My mom she was maybe in her early 20s. She had moved to Texas, and my grandmother had a dream that my grandfather was standing at the foot of their bed in the clothes that he died in. And he said, Gladys, you need to wake up. Nancy needs you. You need to wake up. And the phone started ringing in her dream. And she woke up and the phone was ringing. And it was my mom calling from Texas from the hospital, and saying that, you know, she had a ruptured appendix and she was in the hospital. And so my grandfather, who had been dead for about maybe 10 years, came to my grandmother and said, our daughter needs you. And I've grown up knowing that story. So I always knew that there was life after death. I always knew that our loved ones can and are with us all the time, and they can contact us, and they can do that. And then after my grandmother died, I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to her, and I was grieving pretty significantly. So about 6 months after she died, she came to me in a dream, and I was able to say goodbye to her. And I knew that it was a dream, but I knew that it was her. And I can't remember in the dream, I kept looking at the clock because I knew I didn't have much time. And so, yeah, ever since then, I've just sort of been, you know, fascinated with it. And then by a wonderful happenstance and fate, I met Tony and Cherie and Chris and Audra when I went to do a tour that they were having at Phelps Dodge Hospital. And
I remember that day.
Yes.
Yep.
So do I.
Yeah.
yeah, so, you know, they, as the rest, as they say, is history. So, hey, Anthony. Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to be taken under the wing of Entity Voices Paranormal Investigators and trained as a paranormal investigator. And I have been doing it for 2.5 years now. And I'm part of Southern Entities Paranormal with Chris and Audra.
That's awesome. You were a great student, Carrie, and I think it wasn't maybe even in the first year or under a year. Cherie and I had to go over Halloween, and we weren't in Arizona.
Yes.
And Carrie, we asked if she could maybe take over the Halloween night tours. And she did, and she did a fantastic job. And
how many people?
She had quite a few people come that night, and,
by herself.
Right? You did a great job. We will be forever thankful for that, Carrie. And you know, I'm glad that it helped pique your interest in it, and you know, the rest of it, like you said, is history from there. You just picked it up and ran with it, and like Chris said, if you haven't listened to History of a Haunting, they have some great topics. Definitely check it out. We'll let Carrie at the end of the show explain how it works and how you can, you know, get access to listen and all that good stuff.
For sure. Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we'll jump in.
Her on too, right? When was the last time we had Carrie on the show? It was a while ago.
It was a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been
over a year.
Yeah, when you first moved into your new house.
Mm-hmm.
No,
that's right.
It was before then. We were just getting ready to move. We were still in Phoenix. And we were just getting ready to move to North Carolina. Was the last time. Yeah.
Really?
Oh.
No,
Yeah.
I think we did. I think we did an episode on the Globe Jail you were on.
Well, she came back.
No.
She's already in North Carolina.
You know, it was a brief Laura and I were on. That's right. We were just in a production. That's right. Yeah. After Old College Hill or Old Hospital on College Hill. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like, wait a minute.
But I had to share the spotlight with Laura.
All right, so Carrie sent us some really good clips. We got about 7 clips to look at.
Awesome.
Right.
We are going to start with 1910 laughing. So why don't you set that one up for us?
So we had done, now I have investigated the 1910 jail in Globe with Tony and Cherie back in 2019. And my podcast, we do paranormal events where we invite our friends of the podcast, fans of the podcast, to join us on a paranormal investigation. And the very first one we did was at Phelps Dodge Hospital. The second one we did was this past December at the 1910 jail in Globe. And it was Laura and I and about, I think there were 12 guests. So we had done what you guys do, what I watched you guys do with Phelps Dodge. We had taken him around, we had shown him the hot spots, we told him the history. One of my family friends had actually been a trustee in the 1910 jail back in the 70s. So I kind of used him as a trigger object. He was fine with it. So he had some stories to tell about being, housed there in the 1910 jail. And then we did, what you guys did. We gave them the equipment, we showed them how to use it, and then we sent them on their way.
Awesome.
That night was really quiet. We didn't have a whole lot going on, maybe a couple of knocks, maybe a couple of bangs. But for about 7 hours, it was almost like nothing. And they were kind of disappointed. The group was kind of disappointed. And I was like, oh God, if we don't get anything on audio or video, then I don't even know what, because that place never disappoints. And you guys know that.
Right.
Well, it did to us. Actually, you weren't there, but
With Dylan.
with Dylan and Rick McCollum, that
Did it?
live there wasn't a lot of activity. There were a few little things, but we said the same thing.
Yes.
I've never seen it like this. So I think there's just
Yes.
there's so many variables that play into whether activity happens or not. We don't know what those all are, but it was just an off night because we've been there other times and just absolutely floored with what we walked out with. But that was another one of those
Exactly.
times where, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. So I was a little nervous, especially because, they all drove in from Phoenix and they all, you want it to be great. You know that you're going to get what you get, ghosts don't perform on command. But,
Right.
so at the end of the night, when Laura and I were driving back to Phoenix, because I was flying home that day, I said, it's going to come down to whatever we capture on audio and video. And between the, I think it was 14 of us, we captured 48 EVPs.
Oh.
Wow.
Which was unbelievable. I was like, and I kept sending them to Chris, and I was like, am I hearing this? Am I not hearing this? Am I making it up? Like, help me out here. So this one is one that one of our team members captured, and we were looking for the usual suspects, right? We were asking, Kingsley, are you here? Jenny, are you here? And so this laughing EVP is one of the ones that one of the groups captured, and they had never had a paranormal investigation before. They'd never done anything, so they all did really great. And this is one of their captures, the laughing.
Cool.
Real quick, Chris, before you play, real quick, dude, this was from the disappointing night.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So the lesson for the people watching, if you're new at this or thinking about doing paranormal investigating, is that even when you leave and you think, review your stuff, because especially EVP, you don't hear them until you review, and you had a plethora of responses and vocals on recorders that you didn't even know you walked away with. So,
Right.
Yeah.
okay.
Blown
there's
away.
been-
Just blown.
How many times did we go into the Phelps Dodge Hospital and leave there going, man, there was just nothing going on tonight?
Nothing.
And we start reviewing the evidence, and it's like, holy crap.
Right. That happens all the time. You walk out thinking that was absolutely nothing happened. And then, like you said, Chris, you review and it's just one after another and you're like, okay, I was wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
It's crazy when that happens.
Yeah.
So let's see proof of I was wrong.
All right, here we go.
So you block out the door light.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's creepy. Let's say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
And it's far away too.
Right. Right.
That's what I was going to say. It sounds from a distance. Can you play that one more time?
I was going to say, I'm going to play it again. Pay really close attention, too, because listen to when Carrie speaks. There's a difference in the echo in the EVP.
Oh, yeah.
So you block out the door light.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a difference in proximity and resonance on that for sure.
Right. Yeah.
My guess is it's coming from a different floor. Do you know what floor you captured that on? If you don't, it's okay.
We
But
were all on the tour, and we had just started. So everybody was down in the first floor tank. And that sounds like it's coming from the women's tank.
Or it's second floor. I mean, it's got that distant sound to it.
Yeah.
So that's really cool though. And I love the echo effect, and that would echo in those metal chambered halls and cells.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yep.
You know what? Let's listen to that again. Now that you mentioned that, Tony, that almost does sound like it's coming down a stairwell.
Yeah, it's got that distant sound. And yeah, if somebody was up on the something was up on the second floor and made noise, but it would have had to created a sound wave. So did you by any chance hear that with your ears?
Nope.
No.
No.
Wow.
And are you guys saying that you think that the sound sounds like it's traveling, like it's actually coming down a stairwell?
Yeah.
Right. It sounds like a sound wave to me coming through the hallway and down the stairwell.
So that's an interesting, because when you look at properties of sound and the Doppler effect, you have the shortening of the gap that the waves are resonating in as you get closer to the receptor of the sound. And then that's why you hear the train go and it trails off.
Right.
So that might be part of what's creating the echo effect too in that environment.
Right. And the sound bouncing down the hall, down the stairs. So
exactly.
It's a cool capture.
We're going back there.
Yeah, we'll be back there this weekend.
Yes.
Oh.
This coming weekend?
Yes, History of a Haunting is a sponsor of the Globe Paracon.
Globe Paracon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
How special. I'm jealous.
No kidding.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what? Before you go on, let me just mention that though. So anybody who's in Arizona, the Globe Paracon is happening Saturday from 5 p.m. is the booth, the vendors, then there's a meet and greet VIP.
I think that starts at 7.
No, I think that starts at 5 and goes to 7. And then there's 4 investigations: the Globe 1910 jail, the YMCA building, the train station, and
the Plaza, I believe.
Yeah, there's one more. I can't remember what the other one is. But, if you're in Arizona, you might want to check it out on Saturday. It's going to be a great event.
Oh, wow, nice.
Yep.
For those of you on the East Coast, if you're bored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was Anthony's question?
He said, how far do you think the ego coming from?
The ego? My ego comes from my feet, goes all the way to my head, back down again sometimes. It depends on the mood I'm in. Sometimes I'm humble. Sometimes I'm just an asshole. It depends on the day.
It depends on the day.
You're in the ego chamber.
It's Monday.
Ego chamber. I'm sure he meant echo. Well,
he did.
Yeah, to me it sounds like it's coming from the second floor, echoing down, like Tony said, echoing down the stairs. That doesn't sound like it's on the same floor to me. No.
But the interesting thing about it though is, which is why I asked if anyone heard it with their own ears, is because in order for it, like Ron was explaining, to do that, an actual sound wave would have had to have been generated for it to bounce like that through those halls. If it was a direct EMF right to the recorder, none of that would be there. So that's what makes it so interesting.
Absolutely.
Well,
Perfectly put.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about it too was,
sorry,
you guys know the front doors that you walk into to get into the jail, they have the glass panes. Well, we watched a shadow cross in front of that because the street light's right outside. So that's where you hear me asking, I saw you block out that light. I was talking to whatever was on the first floor with us. So, but whatever this was laughing is not up with us, down with us. So.
Wow.
Oh, the fourth one is Bullion
Plaza. This is the fourth investigation.
Thanks, Keith. I think that's Keith.
Yeah, it's Keith. Thanks, Keith.
Keith is awesome. Keith is actually going to take a trip out here in August, and I hooked them up with a weekend exclusive at the Shanley, both Friday and Saturday night.
Wow. Nice.
What?
That's awesome.
he wanted all of you guys to come up, but the timing is difficult with other events that that everybody's doing.
Right.
And for us, it's 90 minutes away, so it's easy.
Right.
But then again, I'm not going to get to go to the Globe Jail or the Globe Paracon.
Yeah.
It's always a trade-off, but we're not going to get to go to Gettysburg.
And the first time Carrie did it with Tony and Cherie, we were supposed to be on that investigation, but we were here in Charlotte looking for a house.
Yeah.
Anyway,
play that clip again.
Yeah, here we go.
So you block out the door light.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
that almost has like a dual echo to it.
Right.
That's
I like
crazy.
I like your standard. A lot of times with these types of things, nobody heard it, no reaction.
Right.
yeah.
Something's resonating, but it's not at a detectable level. Nobody heard it.
Well,
That's
and,
awesome.
and another interesting part about that is what you brought up, Ron, about the way a sound wave works. And you asked Carrie if she heard it. It sounds like a sound wave. It travels like a sound wave, but nobody physically heard it.
Yeah, well, Tony shined a light on what I thought was the key connector, because we talked about this before. When the sound happens in our environment, the sound is not paranormal. The origin of it, perhaps, but not the sound. But if the sound happens, like we heard one time in an investigation, we heard a door slam on the recording, but there was no door slamming on any other recorders or cameras or anything else in that moment. So then the sound is what's coming from a source that is inexplicable. That's anomalous as well. And what Tony pointed out, which I thought was brilliant, was that if that environment affected the sound or how it sounded characteristically to be traveling, then that sound was created who knows where, but it was affecting the environment because it was affected by the environment.
Right, and it was actually had to be a sound wave to give those characteristics. So makes it fascinating.
Right.
Which can still happen at levels that we can't detect. So it doesn't mean that it's not environmental just because we didn't hear it.
Oh, I agree. I completely agree.
Awesome.
That's a really cool clip. That's a cool clip.
It was. We've got another one from the 1910 jail said, "Oh, well." You want to set that one up?
Yes. So we had one of our groups was up in the sort of not really the third floor women's tank. And Tony and Cherie, you guys know how the jail is set up. There's the first floor, the second floor, and then you go up sort of like a half a set of stairs where there's Kingsley's cell, and then there's the women's tank, but then there's an actual like third floor above that. So it was like second floor and a half. But they were doing a session in the women's tank, and that was the area where Cherie had been videoing, and you guys had captured that EVP saying Carrie's in trouble, and the female voice saying who cares. That's that same area. So they were doing some work in there. Everybody else had kind of split up, and they were looking for Jenny. Now Jenny is known to be, she owned a brothel in Globe, and she was the madam of the brothel. A lot of the men that were staying in the 1910 jail were her customers. So she's not a real big fan of women. She gets a little jealous of them. She does try to make it so that, it's really cold around women. She'll pull on their hair, things like that. So they were trying to get Jenny to interact with them, and she just wouldn't. What was interesting is what they caught in this EVP, and I'll see what you guys think of who it is, and then we can talk about it after you guys listen to it.
All right, here we go.
Okay, bye, Jenny. You had your shot. We're moving on.
Wow.
Wow.
That to me sounds like a younger girl.
Yes.
Play that one more time. That voice sounded like a younger girl to me, which puts two in my head that it might be. Play that again, Chris.
And what identifies this very well, good job, Carrie, that this is an EVP, because you have other people talking. So this would be hard to catch.
Right.
Everybody talking has an echo. The EVP in this one does not, like the last one. Let's listen to it again.
Okay, bye, Jenny. You had your shot. We're moving on.
Yeah.
That sounds like one of the two younger daughters
Oh.
that Kingsley
Yeah, Kingsley.
murdered.
Yes.
That's what that sounds like to me. That is not a grown woman.
Think about that.
That's a young.
Chills.
How old were those girls?
12.
Like 7,
11. I think they were 11 and 8.
11 and 8.
Yeah.
That's the age that sounds like.
Yeah.
Play that one more time.
Okay, bye, Jenny. You had your shot. We're moving on.
Yeah, that's not an adult. That's a child.
Oh,
Sounds like.
Yep.
Awesome catch.
Great
And
catch.
You notice everybody else talking had that jail cell echo, but the EVP didn't. It was very soft, like it was encapsulated. It was embedded.
There's actually another word in it, but I can't make it out. There's the third word.
There's a third word?
There is. It's very subtle.
We'll have to amplify that.
Yeah.
All right.
You want to go there again?
Yeah.
Yes.
Lulu or Myrtle. Those were the two girls.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thanks, Keith.
And
I gotta
they
check
are
something one
absolutely
second.
my cousins, those two little girls.
I'm not walking off.
Hi, Ron.
Nice seeing you.
So, Carrie, I got a question before I move forward with your evidence. You said that there was one that was kind of humorous that you wanted to play last. Is that Karen?
That's the Karen video, yes. We can play it now because it's at the 1910 jail. So I do want to set this one up.
You want to play it now?
Yeah, we can go ahead and play it now. And I do want to set this one up. This is what Laura and I call our Karen video. And it's not because there was a bitchy woman there that was complaining. Yeah.
That's what I was hoping for.
It was actually my friend Karen. So we call it the Karen video because it's kind of a teachable moment, especially for new investigators, because I think that what happens in this clip is something that every paranormal investigator has experienced at some point in their career. And it's funny. It's not like, it's a funny clip. And so I wanted to show it just because to this day, Laura and I still laugh about it. And frankly, so does Karen. But we showed it. We do a recap episode of every investigation we do on History of a Haunting. So we put this together on our show. So I wanted to show it to you guys. It's just sort of funny. And like I said, I think it's something that every investigator has had happen to them at some point in their career. So it's
all right. Let's watch it. Every one of our viewers is going to be going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Including me.
You're going to freak the fuck out. Why? Where am I looking? Up the stairs or? No, I just freaked the fuck out. Okay. There it is. Wait, come back. Jesus Christ. Dude! Fucking God! Where were you? Right there! I was right there! Just right now? Yes! Okay, don't shut my phone, don't shut my phone. I'm sorry. She's freaking out. Yes! It's over there. And
Wait a minute, Laura, I gotta see this.
Yeah, we gotta see. Wait a minute, hang on. Yeah.
That's funny.
That's nuts. That's
Wow.
So for everybody watching, spirits don't usually carry iPhones.
Are you sure?
My
That's fun.
My
So-
spirit might eventually
Yeah.
do that.
And it was one of
I'll
those things. It
forget.
was toward the end of the night. Yeah, I mean, you heard how we reacted because so it was toward the end of the night, and about half of the folks had left. So the rest of us were doing like an EVP session, EMF session in the second floor tank where the violent criminals were held, and the other group was in the women's tank trying to look for Jenny, or so we thought. So Laura she's got her flashlight and she's got a phone and she's just kind of walking around the cells because there is a walkway that goes around all of the cells on each floor. And she captures this hand come out of the cell. And she is like, wait a minute, did I just see that? And so she re-reviews it and it's dark. We've been in the dark all night. Your eyes do play tricks on you, especially when you're trying to look at a phone. I mean, it's a thing. So she's like, Carrie, come here. And she can't find where she saw the hand come out. So I'm getting annoyed because I'm like, dude, I'm kind of doing a thing over here. And so she shows me, and then you see when I see it. And I'm like, wait a minute, hang on. So I go up there, and the group had moved from the women's tank into Kingsley Old's cell. And they were getting EMF spikes. And so what my friend Karen did was she stuck her arm out of the doorway to see if this EMF spikes would carry it outside into the hall. And then she got
So it's an EMF
and
detector.
so I go in and there's a whole group of people in Kingsley Old cell and I shout down to the stairs to Laura. I'm like, it's fucking Karen. But man, did we really think for a split second that she had captured something phenomenal.
Wow.
So I think,
Yeah, looked like it.
Right? For a split second, it did.
The funny thing is you yelled it's Karen, and somebody's looking through the pamphlet going, they didn't tell us there was a spirit of Karen here.
There's no Karen here.
Yeah. So just teachable moment, like always, you think you see a hand come out of a cell, go to the cell and take a look. It may be a ghost, but it may be your friend.
You know what's a shame is that we don't have anybody on our show panel that would be able to speak this. We have nobody on our show panel that could speak to situational awareness. If only we had somebody.
So what?
Yeah, I don't know.
So to add to that teachable moment,
Yeah.
make sure you know where all your investigators are.
Yeah.
And something that I do that a lot of people don't do, and it's just because of the detail that I focus on, is I tend to focus on the people that I'm investigating with, what type of shoes they're wearing, what color pants they're wearing, what color shirt they're wearing, if they're wearing a hat. Okay.
Yep.
And then that way, if you pick up, like in 2 weeks, we're doing Trans-Allegheny, and the hallways there are very long and dark.
Mm-hmm.
And if you snap a photo and you catch somebody with a hat, you want to know who in the group was wearing a hat, right?
And where they were.
And where they
pants.
were.
Even if you don't snap photos, you want to know who's wearing pants. It's very important.
Yes, it's very important who's wearing pants. And I'm just, Ron brings up a great example. If you don't know once you start the investigation who's wearing pants and who's not, you're not paying attention.
Yes.
Or you spent too long at happy hour before the investigation.
Yeah.
And it's probably you.
It's very happy hour. An extremely happy hour. Go on.
But situational awareness is huge in a situation like that, because the first thing when you check what everybody's wearing and you know where everybody's at, when you see that hand come out, you go, oh, that was Karen. Karen was wearing a white sweatshirt, right?
Problem with that is that it was a fan event and we sold hoodies. So literally everybody but 3 people were wearing History of a Haunting. We were all wearing the white sweatshirt. So I mean, it could have been. It was basically, yeah. So it was.
Carrie, had you been drinking prior to the investigation? Situational awareness.
I'll tell you what.
If you're handing out white hoodies to everybody and you see an arm with a white hoodie,
Yeah.
good chance it's one of the people. No, I'm just kidding.
That is a good teaching.
Yeah, Carrie's going to tell me to F off in a minute here.
That's a good teaching tool, though. She's right. That is a good. That is a good teaching tool because we are capable of fooling ourselves if we don't have all the pieces to the puzzle that we have access to.
Yeah.
Completely agree. And it's really a two-sided lesson, because one, situational awareness, knowing who's wearing what, where they're located. But two, the other one is just the awareness of going through your review of your evidence. When you find something, you guys were able to debunk it. But that is the second important part, to not just go all gaga over, oh, I caught something, and start, sending it out all over the internet. But, take a look at every aspect of it to determine, okay, is this truly paranormal, or is there a rational explanation for it? So, good conversation.
That actually even made me think of a third variable to situational awareness. And I've actually said this a couple of times when we've been out on events, is that if you stray from the group, or if there's more than one group, to be cognizant of the fact that other people might be recording sound and or video while you're moving around. So to try to minimize, or at least if you happen to step into something, to tag it or whatever. So
exactly. Good point. Good point.
And some tips for those of you that go out on investigation with groups. Like, for instance, I carry little red buckets, and I actually got them on Amazon. It was a human size beer pong set, right? But I bought 2 sets of them, and when I walk through, I'll drop those buckets, and it helps me in 2 different ways. That's where my equipment is, and then I let the teams know that's with me. You see one of those red buckets, or I've got red plastic plates too. You see something red, that's where my equipment's at.
Right.
So be cognizant of the fact that that's where the equipment's at. It's recording. We're trying to catch evidence. But it also helps in big locations when you're going around collecting your equipment in the dark.
Yeah. And if anybody breaks your equipment, they have as good as kicked the bucket.
That's right.
Plus,
and you just got recorded doing it.
Yeah, and plus, if you end up at the beach, you can build one heck of a sandcastle.
You can. You can. And if you don't build a sandcastle, you flip them over. They came with little white balls. You can play beer pong.
Remember when we used to talk about the paranormal? Remember that? When we used to talk about
paranormal? Now we're talking about beer pong.
When we did that was fun. We should do it again sometime.
We should do that again sometime, yeah.
All right, Carrie. So the next one we have is Jen's EVP-running-yes. Was she running when she caught this, or you want to tell us?
Yes. So my best friend and her husband live in a house with what we thought was one ghost. And they have lived in this house for 18 years. And we've all known that their house is haunted. All of us have had experiences in this house, including my son Coy. And so when I was there last summer, I was like, hey, let's do an investigation of your home. So we did. I set up a camera. It's a very small house. So I set up a camera in the little hallway facing their bedroom. And then we were downstairs doing an investigation. A lot of they have the dog that they used to have, the cat that they have, spends a lot of time looking at the light in the foyer and at the closet in the foyer. So we were down there kind of trying to figure out what was going on with what is freaking these animals out. Come to find out, they have a huge electromagnetic field that runs from the basement all the way up into their daughter's room, and it runs through the closet. And so we figured that the animals were probably really kind of drawn to that. But that there's a big electrical, I'm not an electrician. I don't know what it's called, but a high electrical forces runs in that area. So we were able to debunk that, thinking that maybe the cats and the dog, and then their sixth sense, their innate sense was just kind of attracted to that. So while we're doing that, we're figuring it all out. We capture this from the camera that is pointed to their bedroom. And what was alarming was to my ears anyway, I can kind of hear it run through their room and down the stairs where we're at, which, okay, fine. I mean, I've heard that a ton of times. I sleep in the living room, and in the middle of the night, I hear footsteps walking around because their bedroom's right above me. I'll get up in the morning and be like, did you guys get up? And we're wandering around. They're like, no, we didn't get up at all. Oh, okay. Well, then it must have been the ghost. So this is what was captured in that investigation. And it was more than just running, which was kind of creepy.
All right. Let's take a listen.
I think they're watching. So.
Wow.
Ah, that's interesting.
That's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
If you listen
It's
to
a
that
very
really
small
close,
house.
if you listen to that really close, those don't sound like large footsteps. Those actually sound like a child running.
Yeah.
Yeah, we found out that there is a little girl that does haunt the house, and we've known this for years, almost 2 decades actually, because we hear her. We've heard her a number of times. Their daughter is 18 years old now, but when she was about 3 or 4 years old, Jennifer would be down in the basement doing laundry, and she'd hear "Mommy" coming from upstairs in the kitchen, and she would get mad because she thought her daughter had gotten out of bed, and she'd go to the stairs and wouldn't be there, and she'd go check her daughter's room, and Emma would be fast asleep. I've heard the little girl's voice to the point where their dog's name was Ellie, and Ellie and I, it was just us in the house the one day. They were all at work and at school, and we heard a little girl in the basement call for Ellie, and Ellie jumped down the couch and ran to the basement door, and I was like, oh, they're home early. So I went, nothing. So we knew there was a little girl in this house. The second EVP that you're going to play, though, Chris, kind of blew that idea out of the water and made us realize that there's actually something else there too.
Let's listen to that one. Here we go.
And it'll come in, be quiet.
Can we play it again?
Wow.
Let's play that again in case you wanted to sleep tonight. Hang on.
It'll come in, be quiet.
There's
Wow.
another voice in there.
Yeah. There is no circumstance within which that phrase would make you feel comfortable.
No.
Right.
No.
Right.
No.
Especially when you kept it on a recorder and you didn't hear it.
Well, and that's male. That's a male voice.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't know that entity was in the house. So Chris, I had contacted you after I had investigated it, and they bought the house was built in 1940. It's in Pennsylvania, and Jennifer and Mike are the third owners of the house. So they did a bit of history. We did a bit of research on the property, and it used to be like orchards and things like that where they live. There was a little girl that did die on the land, but not necessarily in the house. However, when Jennifer and Mike moved in, they found in the crawl space leading to their attic 3 wooden toys. It was a little table, it was a chair, and it was a little, I think it was a little wooden truck. Very indicative of the era the house was built in, right? So we had Jennifer take them out of the attic as trigger objects when we investigated the house. And ever since we did that, this male voice we now have found. Mike has seen a black mass at the foot of their bed. I have seen the same black mass at the foot of their bed because they went out of town, and I was staying with Emma last summer, and I was staying in their room. And they have a Vizio TV on the wall, and this insignia of Vizio is lit up orange when the TV is off. The black mass blocked that out. So being a paranormal investigator, I was like, you cannot be here. You are not welcome here. You need to leave. This is not your home. And it went away. So I contacted Chris, and I was like, I think we kind of did something, and we didn't know we were doing something, and I don't know what to do. Help us. So they put the toys back. Jennifer did apologize because she was the one that removed the toys. Because for a while there, it was getting to the point where her husband Mike was feeling increasingly angry when he would be upstairs, specifically in their bedroom. And it got kind of dicey there for a while. So they put the toys back. She did apologize. I'm going to be there next week because Laura's flying in for Trans-Allegheny. We're staying at Jennifer. So I'm an ordained minister now. We're going to bless the house. But yeah,
What part of PA is it? What part of Pennsylvania is that in? What part of PA?
Pittsburgh.
Okay, so southwestern. Okay.
So before that, Carrie, was it just a little girl?
Just a little girl. That was the only thing that we had ever heard. And Mike has seen her. She only presents herself to Mike. And we for whatever reason, we don't know why. When Emma was little, they used to sleep with their bedroom door open. But now that she's older, Mike just hasn't seen her that much because she would always be there in that little hallway where their bedrooms are upstairs. But so I talked to Mike tonight, and he said that there hasn't really been anything going on in the house in the last several months. Because I told him, I'm like, hey, I'm going to be on the show. I'm going to show this evidence from your house, and they're going to want to know what's going on now. But he says every now and then he does feel just sort of angry and irritated for no reason when he's in the room, but it's not nearly as bad or as frequent as it was before she put the toy and apologized. Pretty crazy.
That is crazy.
Wow.
Isn't it crazy? It's super crazy.
That is crazy.
So, yeah.
Real quick, so I don't forget getting into this. In about 10 minutes, UNX is going to switch over to their next program, but we're going to continue to finish up with Carrie and see what she's got going on in the future and get her to shamelessly plug her history of a haunting too. So stick around. We've got a couple more pieces of evidence. We might play another one that's creepy just to make sure you don't sleep well tonight. We'll see. But stick around, guys, and in about 10 minutes, they're going to switch over, 9 to 10 minutes. All right.
Yeah, let's play the St. Albans ones because damn.
Because damn. Not just because they're good, but because damn. All right.
That's crazy.
So St. Albans singing.
Yes. So
yes, it was.
I'm a little surprised that singing at St. Albans. St. Albans Sanatorium is in Radford, Virginia. It's is on land that's pretty awful and gross. There was a massacre at Draper's Meadow. Then they built a boys' school, and it was really horrible and awful. And then they built a sanatorium, and then it became an asylum. So nothing great ever happened on this land or in this building. And in the basement, the sub-basement, actually, is a bowling alley where a lot of horrible, awful, no good, really bad things happened. And we decided when we went to investigate it, it was a brilliant idea to go down in duos and be locked in the bowling alley for an hour. So me and my partner are down there in the bowling alley. And this is actually where both pieces of evidence that I presented tonight came from. And there's one about the singing. You can hear me talking to her. And then we capture this unexplained singing that we didn't hear at the time. So that's this.
So for anybody out there, I just want to mention one thing. For anybody out there thinking of building an asylum to put insane people in, probably handing them a 15-pound bowling ball is not a good idea.
No. And for the record, too, she mentioned that there was a lot of seedy and shady things that probably happened down there in the bowling alley. So by all means, get your mind out of the gutter. Roll clip.
Oh my goodness.
That was awesome.
But a general record of asylums, there was a point where all of them pretty much went downhill and fell apart. Not only from staffing, from financing, from workers, from everything in between. So I'm not sure that many people would probably build one to try again because it wasn't really productive or lucrative.
Not at all. Not at all.
Very lucrative. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Yeah, they had taken luminol and sprayed it on the floor and found a pool of blood with drag marks leading out to this door back here.
Whoa.
That was cool. Not only singing, but there's footsteps too.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's listen to that again. Hang on.
Yeah, let's just.
Yeah, they had taken luminol and sprayed it on the floor and found a pool of blood with drag marks leading out to this door back here.
Can't tell what it is.
Yeah,
I
pretty
know.
cool.
I feel like I know the song.
I know. I'm trying to
But I
listen
can't
to it
place it.
because I'm like, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, I'm a little afraid to sing it if I didn't know it.
Yeah. Justin Bieber.
Just baby, baby, baby.
Yeah, that was it.
There we
So
go.
here's a little tactic too that helps too is if you ever go back to locations and you catch your EVP like this, think about what you were saying when that EVP was captured, because what you actually said might have been a trigger.
Yeah.
Because you were talking about the luminol that discovered the blood from the murder that had happened in the bowling alley. And who knows, maybe it was the lunatic that did that you actually activated the spirit that actually did or was the person, the victim. Yeah.
It could have been. It could have been. There's a woman named Gina that is believed to have been murdered in or around St. Albans property. So, I mean, it may have been her. Stairway to Heaven. All right. Seminole figured it out. Thank you, Anthony. Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. The song sounds familiar to me, but I don't know why, and I can't place it. But I'm pretty sure it's not Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah.
It's not
Never know.
Stairway to Heaven.
When did it close down? When did
Anyway,
it
you have saved the very, very best for last, and I'm super excited that you did, Chris. Thank you.
Nice.
This
I
is
did
the
that on
best piece of
purpose.
evidence that I have ever captured in 2.5 years.
So St. Albans isn't as well known as
I mean,
some of
the best.
St. Albans isn't as well known as like Transallegheny and like Waverly. When did I'm just curious, when does St. Albans actually close?
Do you know?
I want to say late 80s, early 90s.
Okay.
Wow.
Fairly recently.
So Stairway to Heaven. Could
Yeah, could be Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah, it's all about the song.
Maybe it is.
Just kidding.
Well, here's
Highway to Hell.
I mean, that's probably the one.
the scary thing you see about these sanatoriums and these lunatic asylums, you're going to see a common theme somewhere around the late 80s, early 90s. The government went, you know what? We might have to start closing these places. It only took them 100 and some odd years to figure out that these places weren't.
Nice.
Yeah. Hey, but it had a bowling alley. Leave it open.
And
a
I'm
little
kind of
longer.
surprised they were open for as early as they were.
Yeah.
I don't, yeah. Okay.
All right. Here's the last one. St. Albans Rushing. Let's take a listen.
Still so quiet down here. Oh.
Wow.
Are you shitting me?
Nobody heard that?
Nope.
The footsteps
We didn't hear
and
it
the
'cause you
help.
don't react. I mean, you hear me say her. It's so quiet. Yeah, we didn't hear any of it. I didn't find any of this out until we reviewed the evidence. And you hear me say to her, "It's still so quiet down here." And
Should we
said,
play
"Oh,
that
no." And
again?
then-
Yeah, we have to play that again.
Yeah.
So the help was neither one of you?
Nope.
Yeah, I need to hear that again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holy shit. Hang on. Here we go.
Still so quiet down here.
Wow.
It's the craziest piece of evidence I have ever captured. And the idea that that happened and we didn't hear it is terrifying, because we had the EVP recorder on the shelves right by the door. And where she and I were sitting were at the end of the bowling alley by the pin setter. So whatever this was between us and the only exit out of that room.
What kind of floor was it?
Wood
The
bowling
bowling
alley.
it's wooden.
Okay,
And
because
it's
that
raised
you can
up.
hear.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I just wanted to verify
Yeah,
that, because those footsteps are on a wood floor, no doubt about it.
Right.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
agree.
the lanes are wooden and they're raised up from the concrete floor.
Did they sound like rental shoes, Tony, or do you think they were actually?
Sounds like boots.
Yeah, actually, I agree with that too.
Yeah, they're not the rental bowling alley shoes. That sounds like boots.
Yeah, it sure does.
And then the help sounds like a male voice to me.
Big boots.
Big
Yeah.
boots.
Big heavy boots.
Big
Yeah.
boots, yes. So there's
And
a guy or an entity down there known as Big Red, that is known to, he was a maintenance worker and he tends to hang out in the boiler room, which is kind of down the hall from the bowling alley.
Bingo.
But it's a common claim, right? It's a common claim for people down that spend any kind of time down in the bowling alley to feel like and hear somebody is rushing up on them. And it's actually been shown on Destination Fear twice. It happened to Chelsea when she was down there spending the night, and then it happened to Dakota as well. So the idea that it happened again to us, and I just cannot listen to this piece of evidence without kind of getting choked up, because I've never had anything like this happen before.
Wow.
And I know that I probably will again, but
So it's almost interesting if this keeps getting captured by different investigators, and this was the place of a murder that took place, it almost makes you wonder if it's a residual. Maybe the running of the person that actually committed the murder, maybe? Because if it's getting caught by multiple, and is it the same footsteps getting caught every time, or is it different every time?
Good question.
Tell you what, I'd like to see. I'd like to see any other device that was recording at that moment, video or audio or otherwise. If those sounds are not on every single piece of equipment that was recording at that time, holy caca!
Holy cow!
I will
Exactly.
translate that if I need to. That's holy caca.
So
agreed.
It was captured on the EVP recorder that I had sitting on the shelves by the door. And we were however many feet away by the pin setter in the bowling lane. I was also recording with my DVR camera, and I didn't capture it on my camera. Donna had set her DVR camera up in the corner, shooting down the lanes the whole entire night. And every single piece of video footage she caught is corrupted. The IR light isn't working, and the sound is nothing but static for the entire night. And she was making sure she was changing batteries. It was filming. Everything was fine. It was very much, Chris, like College Hill and all of our video at College Hill. Just ruined.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There are other Piedmont Paranormal captured a bunch of really great stuff down in that same bowling alley. Nothing similar to what I captured with my buddy, and her name was Laura. She isn't my Laura, but she was one of what Laura and I call a drag along. Like, hey, I paid for this ticket and this person can't go. Do you want to just come with me? Like, she was just like, sure, why not? We call him a drag along. So she got paired up with me to go down in the bowling alley for our lock-in, but neither one of us heard it. And I got to give a shout out to that girl because she was a trooper.
Yeah.
That place was really creepy, but so quiet. Yet there was singing and there was running and it was just.
So that just adds a little bit to the evidence too, is that you had a newbie that's never, I think Carrie froze. There she goes. You had a newbie has she ever been on an investigation before?
No.
I'm going to tell you right now, if you're in the basement of a sanatorium, okay, that is known to be extremely haunted, and you hear that run up on you and you've never been on a paranormal investigation before, you are going to freak the F out.
Yeah.
And that girl didn't make a noise.
They didn't hear it.
We didn't hear it at all. And we would have reacted. We have reacted.
I'm going to tell y'all right now,
they
we
were
have
rushing
investigated
up
with
on us.
Carrie. Yeah, we have investigated with Carrie numerous times. And if we'd have heard that with our ears on an investigation, there would have been a hell of a lot of F-bombs being dropped by Carrie at that particular moment.
Yep. Because there sure was the minute I heard that when I was reviewing it at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is insane.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's intense because it was loud. It had a lot of volume to it in review from what we're hearing.
Yeah.
That moment nobody heard, and it didn't make anything that was detectable from anybody at all. And not every piece of equipment even captured it.
Nope.
Crazy.
Not one.
And I can tell you guys,
EVP recorder by the door.
This is an investigation where Audra and I said, "Hey guys, we've got too much going on. We can't go on this one." And I'm almost kicking myself in the ass now because that's the first time I've heard that one from Carrie. But I've heard captures from Piedmont and Spirits of the Southeast and other places, and I think that's all that was there, right? It's just those two. They've showed me some of the evidence that they captured. And I was like, holy crap!
Yeah,
it's like
they captured a lot. There were doppelgangers there. Yeah, we had doppelgangers there. There was somebody following me that I knew was following me, and I said I had captured an EVP that I didn't submit to the show, but I had said I turned around and I was like, "Why are you following me? Who's following me?" That's what I said. Who's following me? And I captured an EVP of a young girl saying, "Why are you following me?"
Wow.
Wow.
As an empath, I hated every minute of it. And I told Chris and Audra when I got back, I was like, I'm not saying you guys shouldn't go investigate it, but what I am saying is I am going to need to think long and hard if I ever want to go back, because I don't think to me, it's an awful place. And it just felt so bad to be there. And then I got back and I didn't even want to review evidence. And I never want to do that. I always want to review evidence, but I didn't want to relive it. And then I find all this and I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't have. So, I didn't love it, but that doesn't mean you guys won't. So.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That is an awesome clip.
Yeah.
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 Thank you.
Yeah, it is.
All right, Carrie, shameless plug time.
Come on, Carrie.
All right, let's do it.
What you got coming up? Make sure you talk about History of a Haunting.
Yes, History of a Haunting podcast. We are a weekly paranormal podcast, and we tell you all about the most famous, infamous, and almost famous locations and why they became terrifying places to visit. Our episodes drop every Saturday morning, and we have started a new series called Snack Size Episodes, where we bring you quick little weird episodes. So we just released Mount Everest Death Zone as a regular episode. Today we dropped our Snack Size episode on the Blue Fugates of Kentucky. So we've got Edgar Allan Poe coming up. We've got the Hellfire Club coming up. We've got all kinds of wonderful and amazing things coming up. So come on over everywhere you listen to podcasts and now on YouTube. Again, History of a Haunting podcast.
Cool.
Yay.
What else you got coming up, Miss Carrie?
Yeah.
We have Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. We are doing a private overnight with all of these lovely people. Chris and Audra are going to be there. Tony and Cherie are going to be there virtually. Ron, I think didn't you have something? You and Lourdes had something that night? I can't remember.
Not that night. We're doing Static Voices in Ohio with Austin Maynard. It's a huge ITC experiment throughout an entire. I believe it's an old funeral home. So it's about 2 weeks. I think within 2 weeks of that event. So with getting time off and travel, it was difficult to try to coordinate both.
Yep.
But the Holte, Stephen Katie Holte is supposed to be there. Tim Woolworth, Katie Stafford, Dose Rathmans. Ordis and I, of course, Austin Maynard. I don't think I'm leaving anybody out. So that's like, to me, that was like an honor to be included with all those ITC people. Excited.
1,000%. Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
So we're definitely going to be doing some Facebook Lives from Southern Entities Paranormal page and History of a Haunting. We are also going to be including Ghost Rathmans, Ron and Lourdes. We want to make sure that everybody is a part of the night. Chris, I think we can get some pretty good signal throughout Trans-Allegheny. So we want to make sure,
We can. Most of our lives will probably come from the outside because they don't allow live from interior, correct?
Oh, I did it last time.
Oh,
Lives from inside? Oh yeah, I didn't think they
Oops.
did.
Oops. Lily's room, I did a lot.
that's one of those. It's not illegal unless you get caught.
I mean,
There you
that's kind of the stance I took at Winchester Mystery House. We did a live through almost all of it. Just she was like, "You can't record video." I'm like, "Oh, sorry, 20-minute live over. Bye."
It's not a recording.
I'd
It's a
rather
live.
have forgiveness than permission, kind of. So yeah, we've got Trans-Allegheny coming up. We also have the USS North Carolina, a big battleship, and I am a little intimidated by that because I have never been on a battleship once, and I will probably get lost. So I hope we have our walkies charged.
Walkies won't work in there.
Oh, well, then what am I going to do if I get lost, Chris?
Keep going till you find your way out.
There you go.
And when you go through a doorway, duck.
Panic, bang on the ship.
Bang on the side.
Great.
All right. I want to reach out to all of our listeners and watchers. Katie Holte, Steve Holte was here. Anthony Simonelli, Melissa Blackman, who's here every week. Thank you, Melissa.
Awesome. Yeah.
We got Scott Riddick of Piedmont Paranormal. Make sure you guys pay attention because Scott is on next week's show.
Nice.
Who can
Don't
forget?
forget Cassie Casanova.
Kathy.
Yeah, Kathy
That's what I said,
Casanova.
Kathy.
You said Kathy.
Anthony Simonelli. What are you talking about? Hey, Carrie didn't mention Simonelli and the Seekers will be with us at Trans-Allegheny in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Nice.
Super excited. Super excited.
See, who else do we have on here?
Rebecca J.
There you go. Sorry,
Ron?
I'm still
Ron.
Ron's been here the whole night.
Oh, Keith Davidson was on.
Yeah. Hey, congratulations to Keith and Lindsay. They just got engaged this weekend. Congratulations.
Yes, and Ron actually got to has that aired yet, Ron? With your book with
Not yet. No,
not
with
yet.
Dan.
Yeah, I won't say anything
Ooh.
yet. Then.
I thought you were going to say him and Lourdes got engaged. I was like, what? Look at Ron's face, guys. I busted.
That's why she's not here tonight.
She passed out and had to be admitted she couldn't believe it.
Yeah. So did I. I pre-recorded it.
Wanted to reach out and say thank you to everybody that watches every week. It is a total pleasure to have you guys here. It really makes us, I mean, we love what we do and we joke. And like Ron said, I thought we were supposed to talk about the paranormal and sometimes we get a little off track and we apologize for that. But at the same time, we want to make sure that we're not putting you guys to sleep either because we want you guys back every week. Okay. Just remember that. And guys, also remember to check out History of a Haunting podcast.
Yes.
Keep an eye on Entity Voices. Keep an eye on Gonyak Paranormal for all the stuff that we're doing. If you guys think that we don't do anything, you're not paying attention. We're all booked up for the rest of the year. You're going to be seeing a lot coming from us. You'll see us every Monday night. Make sure you tune in and make sure that if you want to be sitting in a bowling alley and have some guy named Big Red run up on your ass and capture it only on one piece of equipment, you have to stay haunted. All right, guys.
Night, everybody.
Have a good night. We'll see you next week.
Guys.
Bye.
Can you give me a name? What's your name?